one way or the other, we are finally going to have closure and be done with this fucking thing. The case, or whatever. I spoke to a free attorney, found out that out of ignorance I was about to do the wrong thing, at least according to this attorney. Hopefully the attorney's right. Didn't give me wrong advice, but if I got wrong advice, I did the best I could. You know, in this case, if that attorney is right, my procrastinating nature, just whatever, wound up being a good thing, because I missed the deadline date. The woman explained that court paper to me. I thought that if I want my mom to just sign the papers and not go to court and avoid future court costs, lawyer fees, jail fees, etc., because I'm the only one that did it. I read that entire thing. That, remember when Auntie helped my mom, report expressing all of our concerns, and Auntie helped my mom report the ex-conservator to the Board of Overseers. He had to, explain himself or whatnot. And everything he did was on the up and up. But the attorney agreed with me, and the attorney said, is he not legally obligated to give a detailed explanation of his fees and whatnot? Like, we, my family, my mom demanded that he do when we sent him that original letter. And she was like, no, he is obligated. She agreed with me, more or less. I mean, he was just being an arrogant jerk, and because we never heard back from him, and all we wanted, if we had known back then what we know now, only via reporting him, and he sent, that's how we know we would never win. Everything's justified. We couldn't, in this family, we couldn't imagine, if he hadn't paid that many bills or whatnot, what he had done to earn so much money in that time period. But everything adds up. You're getting hundreds of dollars an hour, everything adds up, phone call, everything adds up. So it was all documented. And the thing is, it was documented all along, and what he should have done is politely said, look, if you question how I earned my money, you can ask the court for a copy of what I submitted to them. To us, we didn't know. To us, it was like he just puts this thousands and thousands of dollars administrative fees on what he sent to my mom to sign, and it doesn't say why. I mean, for all we know, we just picked that number out of his ass. But no, it was all justified, documented. We didn't know. And he didn't elaborate, and he didn't address our tiniest of concerns. He wouldn't even acknowledge the fact that my mom, he was ignorant of the fact and wouldn't even listen my aunt telling, because that was in that original letter that he never even responded back to, that my mom had already paid someone he has listed as a pending charge. Her attorney was done. My mom didn't owe her another fucking penny, so that's, in that manner, he was really wrong, because if he had behaved in a different, not so arrogant manner and been forthcoming instead of evasive, and dismissive of our smallest of concerns or questions, Mom would have signed the papers back then. But now she wants to sign them, and I thought that it was too late. And this attorney said, no, the last thing you want to do is, if you, because I was on no sleep, literally not 1 second of sleep, Sunday, not a speck. I stayed up doing this all day Saturday, hour after hour after hour after hour. I studied it all to see, what I needed to know. And now I learned stuff. Like I said, what this attorney said my mom needs to say is, call up the conservator, and it has to be done today. My mom's weak and whatever, but my mom has to do it because the deadline for the court thing was yesterday, and the court thing was if you object to this, what the attorney told me, I was completely ignorant. I thought if my mom wants to sign the papers, she would say, I object to this proceeding. And the attorney's like, no, this is just a preliminary thing. And if you say you object, you're objecting to the settling of the case. They want the case settled either by you signing the papers. The bottom line is the attorney seems to fully believe that the conservator, my mom, but it can't be my aunt calling up. It can't be me. It has to be my mom calling up. So I wrote my mom a short thing to say. I gave her instructions, introduce yourself, and ask to speak to the conservator. And if he's unavailable, ask to leave a message. And then just, hi, this is so-and-so. Hi, this is so-and-so. I'm calling to find out if it's too late to send in those papers you sent me last September. Yes, my daughter spoke with the attorney of the day. That attorney said it's not too late, and I should call you up and say I sent. That's true. So, we're having closure either way. All you can do is say yes or no. The attorney seems to think that he'll say yes, but you know how that goes. You never know. I mean, we reported him to the Board of Overseas. He could be a dick and not allow my mom to sign the papers. But the point being that I had missed the deadline. But I was going to say, there's got to be some exceptions. If my mom's been in the hospital for an entire week. My mom was in the mental hospital when those papers came. I sort of signed them certified. And I asked the attorney, do you think that he'll, I explained the whole situation. Then the attorney agreed with me that the conservator been an ass back when he sent out the original papers, just basically bullying, sign them or else. So. Like I said, my aunt had made mistakes, when she was doing that. My mom wouldn't be able to word it correctly, so I drew it up, but it was all of our concerns, but I wasn't involved, and Monty mistakenly accused the conservator of paying himself way more, lumped in what the fees my mom had paid to her attorney. So, Auntie was going by memory, and that was a huge mistake, and that's why the attorney later wrote to the Board of Overseas. I'm not even going to address, because the complaint letter, it's complete with misstatements and misunderstandings, whatever. Bottom line, closure. We're going to have closure either way. Either it's going to go to court, and my mom's going to wind up paying thousands more, because it's required. If you refuse to sign those papers, then a GAL has to be. He's not going to be. If he didn't do anything wrong, the wrongness that he caused us all of us to distrust him, and all of us, we in this family, to distrust him. And again, the lawyer 100% agreed with me on that. Remember, my mom and I saw a free attorney many months ago, right after that papers or whatnot, who said, report him and etc. And you can take a long time to sign those papers if you want, if you don't understand. The attorney was not 100% certain that he's legally obligated. I mean, because you know me. Well, can he say no? I just said to the attorney, can he say no? And the attorney was like, he didn't think so, but not positive. Not familiar enough with the case, but I said, you've helped me a lot. But this is just, I want to know in general, this is legal stuff. And bottom line is, I think my mom can still send in those papers, and that's it. There have already been more court costs than in those papers. the final tally is going to include, you know, the conservators, any other money he's gotten to when he's had to do this or that. But he has to document it all. And that's what we did. He should have just told us. We were suspicious of him. Auntie we were all suspicious of him, thought he was, she says it outright, they said it outright in the letter, you know, outright. We think you're taking advantage, but he wasn't. We were wrong, but instead of becoming defensive, he should have said, everything I did to earn the money I paid to myself is in the court records. You can get that he was wrong, period. And we could avoid it all this, but, you know, it is what it is. We want to avoid future costs because we'll never win. It going to court will just cost more, and in the end, it just, think about it, the Board of Overseers found nothing wrong. No one's going to find anything wrong. So hopefully she can send in the papers. I will mail them, and I will enclose the canceled check saying, I mean, the original papers have that pending payment, but a pending is what he has to ask for from the court further. So, you know, and I'll say, I hope, you know, I'll write it for my mom. I hope you'll remove this charge that I already paid to my attorney. That's all. And if he doesn't, he doesn't, because that amount is nothing compared to the more money my mom will have to pay in court costs, you know. So, in court costs is nothing. The attorney fees, GL fees, whatever, it's going to cost a fortune. So, no, we're going to just get this over and done with, and that's it. Adios. And now I can move on to other things, like get my ass back into therapy. I told my mom, I'm like, I know you just got to the hospital, I know you're weak, I know you're afraid of this guy, I know you'll be nervous, but unfortunately we can't wait. You understand we can't wait if the deadline was yesterday on that paper. And what I didn't realize, so I'm glad that I didn't have to do it. And you see, this is a case where I waited till the last minute and it paid off because the deadline was actually in the morning. I thought I had the whole freaking day yesterday. You know what I mean? I thought I could talk to attorney and then have all day to go and type up my little thing I'd written. Remember, it has to be short, and then print it out and make sure you put the docket number, and then we're good to go. No, that was the last thing I should do. I was explained that means I object to I don't want the case settled. See? But I do want the case. But my mom, we want the case settled. Just whatever happens, happens. And I told my mom, if he says no, then he says no, and that's it. If he says it's too late, that's it. Just because I get instructions from, you know, attorneys aren't perfect. Could have gotten the wrong advice. And if I got the wrong advice, I did the best I could. And Auntie knows I did the best I could. Trying to save my mom $1,000 more. I know it's that much. He put on the Board of Overseas thing, he said $2,000 in reserve for future court costs, GL fees, etc. Who knew that? And Auntie was ignorant, thinking the case is closed. He can't hire someone else and have your mom pay. Oh, yes, he can. It's required. I read the whole thing. You didn't read it, Auntie. I read the whole thick package. He's required, if my mom refuses to sign those original papers, to hire a GL and whatnot. So I think it seemed like I was getting good advice yesterday. I almost did the wrong thing. But even almost doing the wrong thing probably could have salvaged it, because I couldn't, there's no way we could have done that anyway. My mom had to sign it, and I didn't understand the instructions, so it worked out okay. So I had plans. I have to talk to her, see what needs to be done, and draw up whatever, and then wait till my mom gets up. So it worked out okay, because in the end, it's finally going to be over with. It's finally going to be over with. Whatever happens, happens. I just want it over with. You know what I mean. stayed up late last night too, but at least I wasn't on my computer. I was cooking and cleaning, making some nice, healthy. I made my broth before my mom came home. I made my broth Sunday. Remember, I don't just discard the vegetables in the broth either. I get use of everything. And I'd already had peppers and different multicolored peppers and some squash cut up that I had sauteed up and cooked and whatnot. So added 2 cans of organic black beans to that. Picked out from the broth some of the vegetables, not the kale and whatnot. I didn't want to add the kale. Kale's chewy anyway. I was trying to get soft vegetables, like squish up for my mom. So I took out the carrots and the beets and added it to that. That was all sauteed up in a little coconut oil. I added a whole bunch of spices. I'm going to throw in some flax and hemp because flax and hemp ups the satiety quality and nutrition quality of anything. And lunches and dinners. Mom's off the lithium. She's ecstatic. And I told her if her nurse practitioner, psychiatrist gives her a hard time, Mom, there's other fish in the sea when it comes to, you should be seeing a real psychiatrist. Anyways, that I agree with the church woman. Oh, and Auntie informed me. This was on Auntie. I'm surprised at that. I wasn't going to do it. As far as I was concerned, she doesn't deserve to know what happened to my mom. But remember, I told you, church woman, inopportune, just bad timing, called right when I was trying to get my mom to a regular hospital. And I took my mom's phone and I listened. And church woman's not going to drive my mom to church anymore. She didn't give a reason. So that's rejection. But I guess Auntie didn't want my church woman to think that my mom was ignoring her. So Auntie called up and spoke with church woman and told her what happened. Whatever. I wasn't going to do it. My mom can tell her so-called, she's free to say whatever she wants to her friends, but I'm not calling up this woman. No freaking way. No way was I going to call her up. She's, my poor mom probably won't be able to